Hi, my name is Marie, and I'm a 2018 Story Fellow with the Solutions Journalism Network, a nonprofit dedicated to training and connecting journalists to cover what's missing in today's news, how people are responding to problems. My colleagues Megan and Emma and I invite you to join us for a conversation about one of the most divisive topics for policymakers in the United States today: how to respond to gun violence. Specifically, we are interested in discussing red flag laws, also known as extreme risk protection orders, a response that's drawing notable bipartisan support. As Emma outlines in her recent story collection, the Parkland mass shooting in February 2018 has furthered calls for a range of gun law reforms. Red flag laws are one proposed response that has gained significant traction among policymakers. So what's a red flag law? It's a law that allows a household member or law enforcement official to petition a judge to temporarily remove a firearm from a person's possession if there is evidence that that person is posing a threat to themselves or others. The concept behind such laws is that shooters often signal their intent before they act. If loved ones or police have a legal way to respond to these red flags and temporarily remove firearms from a person's possession and temporarily prevent them from buying new firearms, then that person might have a chance to get help, and lives might be saved. About 80% of people considering suicide give some sign before they act, according to the nonprofit Mental Health America. So have more than half of mass shooters in the United States over the last 20 years, according to reporting by the Philadelphia Citizen. 13 states, led by Connecticut in 1999, have red flag laws on the books. These states are Indiana, California, Washington, Oregon, Florida, Vermont, Maryland, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Massachusetts, and Illinois. The laws differ by state and are known by slightly different names: extreme risk protection orders or risk protection orders, gun restraining orders, or risk warrants. 8 of the 13 laws have been enacted in 2018, following the Parkland shooting. To begin to understand the impact of red flag laws, we can consider different forms of gun violence and how these laws apply. Mass shootings and homicides capture headlines, but rates of suicide deaths using firearms are also high in the United States. Suicides account for about 60% of gun deaths in this country, according to the Washington Post. Duke University professor Jeffrey Swanson led a study of the red flag law in Connecticut and estimated that on average, one suicide has been prevented for every 15 people who have had their guns seized under this law. A different study in Indiana found a 7.5% reduction in firearm suicides due to that state's red flag law over the decades since the law has been enacted. So far, however, there's little data on how effectively these laws can prevent homicides. Concerns about red flag laws include that coworkers, friends, and relatives may not feel safe reporting threatening behavior. This may be particularly true in cases of domestic violence, as well as among Black and Brown communities where individuals may not trust police officers to intervene safely. There's also debate about how and when a gun owner should be notified that a gun removal petition has been filed. In Oregon, for example, initial court proceedings can start without notifying the gun owner. This is similar to stalking and domestic violence cases, but it's not the norm for most other court actions. The speed of processing these petitions is also a concern. A lot can happen in 24 hours, said Kevin Martinez, chief of the Carleton Police Department, when he spoke to the Oregonian about Oregon's red flag law. It's also important to consider what happens after guns are taken away. In some states, such as Connecticut, gun owners who have their firearms removed from their possession must be connected to social services, including mental health support. Elsewhere, such as in Oregon, this is not written into the law. Despite these and other concerns, supporters of red flag laws say that they offer an important, if imperfect, response to gun violence. Ron Honberg, a senior policy advisor for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, told the Washington Post that he supports such laws. Honberg said, "It creates some mechanism to intervene at a particular point in time when a person may be in bad shape. Is it going to be 100% effective? No. Jonas Oransky, Deputy Legal Director for Everytown for Gun Safety, gave a similar response to the Washington Post. "We think of this as a new frontier," he said. "We don't have a perfect system in this country, and we can't stop every act of gun violence. This is a way for states to take some care and be somewhat nimble when there is a dangerous case." Emma, Megan, and I hope that by discussing red flag laws together, we can think through this response to gun violence and provide information to policymakers deciding whether to propose and adopt such laws in their home states, as well as information and new perspectives to citizens and journalists interested in this issue. Thank you very much for watching this video and for being part of this conversation.